Good morning, everyone. I'm very sorry I cannot be here in person. Yesterday, no train would get me out of Amsterdam. But as you are hearing this, I'm hopefully making my way towards Bristol, so I hope I'll see you soon. Okay, so welcome to this symposium on planet-sized integrated philosophy of science. Supposedly 4.5 billion people have seen these images, so probably many of you as well. These are the first images we have of two black holes, M87 and our own black hole in the center of our Milky Way, Sagittarius A star. And these were made by the ngEHT collaboration, the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration. And they use a technique called very long baseline interferometry, or VLBI, which basically works as follows. There are loads of telescopes, existing telescopes used spread across the world, and each pair of these forms a baseline. And as the Earth rotates with respect to the target, you have a change, like different baselines appear, and the effective baseline with respect to the target changes. And each baseline captures one Fourier component of the image, and together builds up the whole picture as all this data is brought together in a supercomputer. And so basically, the whole virtual Earth-sized telescope is reconstructed in the supercomputer, and the image is built up. So what are we actually seeing? Well, Jamie will say much more about this in her talk, but there are loads of photons coming from different directions. Some will be bent slightly by the black hole. Some will even loop around it. Some might loop around it twice. And all these contributions add up, and that's what we see here on the Earth. So basically, we have all these contributions. The first one to the right-hand side of the equal sign is basically what we've seen so far. And there are all these other contributions, the photon rings, very fine-grained contributions, which we haven't yet seen. And what we basically want to do is in the next 10 years, first, in the next 5 years, build more telescopes in existing sites with existing infrastructure. The 5 years after that, add yet more telescopes, 5 or so, in places, remote places where there's no infrastructure yet. And all of this is to get better resolution images. So we might or may not observe the photon ring, and also to record high quality videos of black holes. When I say we, I mean the next generation EHT, the ngEHT. You can see many of us here in Granada. So there's over 300 astronomers, physicists, computer scientists, engineers, and also historians, philosophers, sociologists, etc. In fact, science moves fast, so there's already talk of ngEHT plus, adding a satellite. So we have a baseline that, such that we have a telescope that's even bigger than the Earth, but we won't talk about that today. Today we'll talk about the ngEHT, and this is its current structure. So we have the management team. Then we have 8 science working groups and 3 technical or engineering working groups. And what we find so great about this group is that they really understand that if they want to succeed, they need to value contribution from all kinds of expertise, including the social sciences and humanities. And this is not kind of in some passive observing sense where we're brought in like passively or 10 years after the fact. No, we are a working group, the History, Philosophy, Culture working group, HPC, fully integrated on par with the other working groups. There are over 100 of us, at least 50 of which are very active. And we come from all corners of the social sciences and humanities. If any of you would like to contribute, please come talk to us after the symposium. So the HPC working group is organized into 4 focus areas. So ANSI, who's somewhere over here, and Daniel Palumbo and Luis Reyes Galindo lead the focus group on responsible or ethical telescope sighting. I'm involved with collaborations or governments plus social epistemology, as is our chair, Haisin. Yuli is involved with AIV, which is one part algorithms, inferences, and modeling, and the second part is about visualization. And then Jamie, another speaker in the Symposium, as well as Helen Mesquitze, lead the Foundations focus group. we've written up our plans for the next few years in this white paper, which you can go and read if you want to, or if it's too long, there's a 2-page highlight in the conversation. And something we're quite proud of actually is the key science goals document, which to our knowledge is the first such document for an ethnobusiness collaboration, which includes goals which are about social science and the humanities and also contributed by scholars from the social sciences and humanities. So now, that was the introduction. Without further ado, let's move on to the 4 talks of this symposium. First, we'll have Nancy talking about building a telescope as well as community trust. Then I'll come back and talk about organizing a telescope collaboration such as the ngEHT. Julius will talk about programming a telescope like the ngEHT, and Jamie will tell us all about photon rings. Thank you for your attention.